It's a story as old as time. A tyrant in his mad search for power. A magical sword. And the heroes who will stop him. A mysterious woman in red. And a swordsman shrouded by night. Yes, that's me, right there. Oh, and did I mention, you can play it on your NES.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the Storied Sword. I've been looking forward to reviewing this one for quite a bit of time now, and I'm finally excited to share my thoughts. If you're new, welcome. I'm Jason the Overwhelmed Gamer, and if you are into retro and homebrew gaming, you are in the right place. Maybe even consider subscribing. Let's go. The Storied Sword is a homebrew title developed for the NES, a passion project by Bite the Chili Productions in collaboration with Raft Labs. If you're not familiar, Bite the Chili brought us Anguna on multiple platforms, and Raft Labs was responsible for Space Raft, another NES homebrew game which is also now available on the Nintendo Switch. I actually had the chance to interview Nathan and Jordan right before this game hit its Kickstarter campaign last year to talk about the Storied Sword. And yes, that's a shameless plug. The game released in 2024, and it quickly garnered attention for its polished gameplay and heartfelt references to the classic fantasy film The Princess Bride. While homebrew NES titles have been gaining popularity in recent years, the Storied Sword was really gaining attention from the homebrew community, and looked to be starting out as a prime example of how developers can still make fun and engaging games for classic consoles like the NES today. The moment I booted up the Storied Sword, I felt I was in for something special. The crisp pixel art, the nostalgic chiptune soundtrack, and the fluid animations all screamed passion project. One crafted by people who truly understood the magic of classic NES games. But what surprised me even more was how much heartfelt and depth this game had hidden beneath its old school veneer. You take control of your choice of either Cedric the Candlemaster, who is a figure from folklore, or as Orchid of Morning, the defender of the people. Each character has a subtle difference in their gameplay style, but the game can be accomplished fully through with either character. You're thrust into a desperate quest to reclaim a stolen legendary blade. The opening cutscene sets the stakes high, showing my mentor's tragic downfall at the hands of a ruthless warlord. From the very first moment, the gameplay had me hooked, not just with its story, but with its razor-sharp gameplay. At its core, the Storied Sword is a side-scrolling action platformer, but it doesn't settle for simply mimicking the past. The platforming mechanics are tight, particularly the wall jumping, which stands out as one of the smoothest implementations I've experienced in an NES title. It even rivals that of Batman. It never felt clunky or frustrating, just precise and rewarding once mastered. You play across 6 stages, and as I ventured through the Old City Castle, Ancient Mines, and Storm King's Fortress, you'll encounter a wide variety of enemies. Brigand walkers test your reflexes, while other monstrous enemies forced me to adapt and strategize. Oh, yes, and there are birds. Lots and lots of birds.
Should have hit him.
Dude, I can already tell some of this is going to drive me nuts. Shit. And see what the combat was simple yet effective, relying on a blend of swordplay and strategic movement. Each character has their main subweapon, with a variety of collectible subweapons scattered throughout the game, like a throwing axe, candle fire, and slash upgrades. If you're running low on health, they have you covered there as well. And if you're lucky, you can find an extra life or two. Scattered throughout the game, there are also clever nods to the Princess Bride, with the first 2 bosses in the game lending themselves to familiar likenesses. I will warn you though, the challenge ramps up quick, but they're kind enough to give you a warning after the Harbor Lighthouse stage. I mentioned the birds. Yeah, well, the hitbacks in this game are no joke. It could tell Ninja Gaiden to hold its beer. I will say though, even at the high level of difficulty, it never felt cheap. The Storied Sword keeps things fair, but never dull. Boss battles are thrilling, each requiring a unique approach. All stages demand precision platforming that will test your wit as well as your reflexes. And while there is no save system, you have unlimited continues, making it easy to pick up where you left off. The best part about the difficulty, if you're not up for your classic NES hard type of game, it does offer a difficulty selection to bring it down a notch if you feel yourself getting too frustrated. Visually, the game does a great job in NES design. Every pixel feels carefully placed, creating environments that range from hauntingly atmospheric to vibrantly energetic. Character sprites are expressive, and enemy designs show off a surprising amount of variety. What's more, the animations are very well done, from standing still character expressions to the wall jumping animation. The game performs flawlessly without any slowdown issues that sometimes plague retro-inspired titles. The 6 stages are really well designed, never get boring, and the game never feels repetitive. Then there's the music, which is an absolute highlight. The soundtrack, composed by Jordan Davis of Raft Labs, perfectly complements the adventure. Each track enhances the atmosphere, whether it's the tension of an intense boss battle or the quiet solitude of ancient mines. The sound effects too feel impactful, with every sword slash and enemy grunt adding to the immersion. As I reached the game's climactic final battle, I couldn't help but appreciate just how much love went into this project. The Storied Sword isn't just another NES-inspired game, it's a celebration of what made the 8-bit era just so magical. So would I recommend it? Without hesitation. Whether you're a longtime NES fan or just somebody looking for a solid platformer, this game is an absolute must-play. Oh, and did I mention there's a Dreamcast version as well? As for my final score, there's no doubt in my mind. The Storied Sword, to me, it gets a perfect 5 out of 5. If you've played it, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't played it, check out all our links in the description where you can get yourself a copy. So grab your controller and prepare for an unforgettable adventure. And thanks so much for checking out our review of the Storied Sword. We will see you in the next video. Late.